Hello everyone, my name is Brianna Harper and today I will be showing y'all a presentation on Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863 in Dearborn, Michigan, on a farm located just out of Detroit. He grew up in a large family as the oldest of 6 children in a rural working class environment. From an early age, Ford showed a strong interest in mechanics and machinery. As a child, he was fascinated by how things worked and often took apart and rebuilt watches, earning reputation in his community for his mechanical skills. Although expected to take over the family farm, Ford was more drawn to machines rather than farming, which set the stage for his later innovations in the automotive industry. Henry Ford received a basic rural education in a one-room schoolhouse while growing on his family's farm. However, his true passion laid outside the classroom, in mechanical work. At the age of 16, he left the farm and moved to Detroit to work as a machinist apprentice, where he gained hands-on experience with engines and mechanical systems. He later returned to the family farm but continued to experiment with engines and machinery in his spare time, eventually building his first gasoline-powered engine in 1893. His self-taught engineering skills and relentless curiosity paved the way for the creation of his first automobile, the quadricycle, in 1896, and later led to founding of the Ford Motor Company in 1903. Henry Ford, the leader of Ford Motor Company, encountered significant obstacles throughout his career as he worked to revolutionize the automotive industry. In his early years, he faced repeated business failures and struggled to gain investor support for his vision of producing affordable cars for an ordinary American. His breakthrough came with the introduction of the moving assembly line, which dramatically increased production efficiency but also led to his workers' dissatisfaction and internal opposition. Although Ford addressed labor issues by offering higher wages and shorter hours, he maintained strict oversight of his employees' personal lives, reflecting his controlling management style. As Ford's company grew, his authoritarian leadership created internal tensions, particularly with his son Edsel, whom he frequently undermined. His reputation was further damaged by the promotion of anti-Semitic content through the newspaper, the Dearborn Independent. Additionally, his reluctance to embrace innovation allowed competitors like General Motors to surpass Ford in the market share. Despite these challenges, including early resistance to the U.S. involvement in World War II, Ford Motor Company became a key player in wartime production. Ultimately, Henry Ford's contributions to industrialization and mass production left a lasting legacy in reshaping both the auto industry and modern labor practices. As we all know that Henry Ford created the assembly line, but he was so much more bigger than this. From an early age, he knew what he wanted to do and he loved tinkering with things. His father handed him a pocket watch that did not work, and Henry Ford actually got it to work. Later on in life, he founded the Ford Motor Company in 1903. He co-founded this with several other investors. In 1908, he created the Model T, which was Ford's most famous car. By 1927, he had sold over 15 million units. In 1913 was when the assembly line was actually created. It was set for the standard of modern mass production. In 1914, he created the $5 workday, which was a bold move at the time, but it enabled workers to afford the cars that they build. On this slide, I will be talking about why Henry Ford did what he did. Henry Ford's actions, especially the founding of Ford Motor Company and the development of Model T, were driven by a few key motivations. One of his motivations was a belief in mass production and efficiency. Ford was deeply influenced by the idea of making production faster and cheaper. Secondly, desire to democratize the automobile. Before Ford, cars were luxury items for the rich. Ford believed that every man should be able to own a car. The Model T, introduced in 1908, was simple, durable, and affordable for making personal transportation accessible to the masses. Number 3, vision of better society through industry. Ford saw industrial progress as the path of social improvement. He introduced a $5 workday wage in 1914, both to reduce turnover and enable his workers to buy the very cars they built. Lastly, control and legacy. Ford was driven by a desire for control, not just of his company, but of how people worked and lived. He had strict rules for his workers and even tried to shape society through initiatives like Ford English School and Ford Sociological Department. While Henry Ford was a man of his word, he also had a few traits that assembled him in the way that he was. Henry Ford was a visionary industrialist whose high expectations pushed him to redefine what was possible in manufacturing. His persistence drove him through early business failures until he founded the successful Ford Motor Company. A confident and self-believing leader, Ford trusted his ideas like affordable cars for the masses and the moving assembly line, long before others did. As a motivator, he inspired loyalty by paying high wages and improving working conditions. A brilliant strategist, Ford transformed not just the auto industry, but also modern consumer culture and labor practices. This is my works cited page. Feel free to use any of these websites given for a further deep dig into Henry Ford's life. This will conclude my presentation. I hope y'all enjoyed it and I hope y'all learned a few more things about Henry Ford. Y'all have a blessed day.